So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K24 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with our fourth installment of the post-draft prospect rebuilds, and today it's Stephon Castle to the San Antonio Spurs. In 2023, the San Antonio Spurs landed the number 1 overall pick. That obviously allowed them to draft generational talent Victor Wembanyama. This year in 2024, they ended up getting number 4 overall in the lottery, and they used that selection to draft Stephon Castle out of UConn. He is ultimately going to be a really good fit with this team. I love his size. I love his versatility. Certainly some of his shooting and his isolation basketball can use some improvement, but playing next to Victor Wembanyama is going to be very, very exciting for this young prospect. As I'm sure many of you are now aware, these post-draft prospect rebuilds are 5 years, so certainly sit back, get your popcorn ready, and enjoy this video because it is probably going to be a long one. But today, our goal, obviously, to get the San Antonio Spurs a championship. Before we do get into this video, though, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. We will certainly be continuing with the prospect rebuilds. I know there's also more free agency and trade stuff on the horizon, so we're all locked in for all that fun stuff. But anything you guys really want to see, let me know down below. I am excited for this one today, and as I mentioned, it is going to be a long video. Let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and have a conversation about this San Antonio Spurs roster. Obviously, last year we're nowhere really kind of near the playoffs. And I think this year, ultimately, if things kind of go right, a lot of development for some of their young pieces, this could be a team that makes a play-in push, if not a playoff push entirely. I think Victor Wembanyama is legitimately that good, and I know that's not necessarily a hot take. All right, let's get into it. Starting out at the point guard spot here, obviously Chris Paul, maybe one of the bigger additions for this team this offseason. He's clearly not going to be any sort of long-term solution at the point guard spot. He's pushing 40 years old, but for 1 year, $11 million after he was released from the Golden State Warriors. I like this pickup quite a bit. Still a good floor facilitator. He's going to be very, very helpful. Playing next to Victor Wembanyama, and hopefully can be a key in the development of Stephon Castle as well. So excited to see how CP3 commits to this team and kind of goes all in with this group. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping. It's unfortunate and probably a harsh reality at this point that Chris Paul is probably not going to get a ring, but good for him. I respect him trying to, do something here with a young group in San Antonio. You got Trey Jones, only 24 years old, in all likelihood will be now coming off the bench for this group. I mean, 1 year, $9 million contract. Certainly would like to keep him on this team and for the long term as some sort of rotation kind of piece like that. All right, we got Blake Wesley. He's 21. We got Juan Nunez here as well, who was, I believe, he was a draft pick by the San Antonio Spurs as well. Was he a second-round pick? He might have been. But again, there's certainly, at least 2 or 3 guys here that can definitely crack the rotation, and then we'll just go on a year-to-year basis with that. Shooting guard spot's very interesting. Devin Vassell, they've obviously committed to long-term on that 5-year, $135 million contract. He is a player that I want to see develop and continue to go up in the overall department. I want his stats to continue to improve because, he's young, but he's certainly making a lot of money now. So he's got to go out there and show me a little something, especially with a 5-year rebuild here today. Malachi Branham is only 21 years old. I'm not exactly sure where we're going to play him today. In all reality, this is Stephon Castle's rebuild. I see here he's listed as a shooting guard. Can certainly play some of the 1 guard as well. For me, I'm not really sure how Stephon Castle fits at the 2. Ultimately, was around a 27% three-point shooter in college, and ultimately that was on like 2 attempts a game. So that part of his game may not translate as well. Of course, he is being coached by one of, if not the greatest coaches in NBA history, in Greg Popovich. But excited to see what Castle can do, obviously, with his size, his frame. Very versatile defender. Very excited to see how he can kind of play make with Chris Paul on the court. And they got David Duke Jr. here as well. Small forward spot, you got Keldon Johnson. I don't really know what to think of Keldon Johnson anymore. He's probably just in that role player territory at this point. I'm not saying he's a bad player whatsoever. I just don't think he's ever going to be, one of those real integral part of a future Spurs dynasty, potentially. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying I don't really see him on that maybe star level tier that maybe he was once going to be in. You got Harrison Barnes here as well. That was a 3-team deal. That was the DeMar DeRozan trade with the Sacramento Kings and the Chicago Bulls. Good veteran presence. I could honestly see him giving, anywhere from 14 to 16 points a game with this group because I do think, again, much like Chris Paul, it's nice to have a veteran presence, and a veteran presence has won a championship here in Harrison Barnes. You got Julian Champagnie as well. I certainly don't hate the contract. Can maybe be a role player for me at that 74 overall. Probably not going to be much more than that here today, but it's certainly nice to have some good depth. We got Jeremy Sohan, who is listed as our only power forward right now. Not exactly sure what we're going to do with this position. I am going to start Sohan in all likelihood. He's only 21 years old. I am excited to see how well he can kind of develop. It's going to be interesting. I'm not making any, future decisions right now, but again, I like the player. I like the age, obviously, so we'll go from there. Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. I mean, 20 years old, dude's already a superstar. He's maybe a top 10 player already. I think he's going to be an all-NBA player this season. I would not surprise me if he was in the MVP conversations. I mean, he is that good, that dominant, and he is going to be a freak of nature for quite some time. Zach Collins, Charles Bassey as well, very much like the backup center with Collins, just good overall, good contract. Charles Bassey certainly a very serviceable piece here as well. So that's the team right now. On paper, it's certainly not the worst team I've ever seen. It's definitely not the worst team in the league. I do think there's maybe one or two moves before we kick off year one, because I'm trying to be competitive, right? I mean, we have a 20-year-old that's leading this team, but he is a superstar already. So why would I not try to be competitive? You know what I'm saying? So I'll see you guys with one or two trades. I actually don't have as many trades as I thought I was going to. We're going to have one. This is going to be the only one we have before we kick off year one. But I moved some positions around. We figured out the 10-man rotation and ultimately kind of came together a little easier than I thought it was. So David Duke Jr., who's an expiring 25-year-old, is going to head to Toronto for a second-round pick. And Garrett Temple, who I did not actually know was still in the NBA. This is a player who was probably just never going to play for us. And ultimately, I know it's only a second-round draft pick, but it is certainly better than losing a player for nothing. So that is going to be our one and only trade. I know it's a little boring, but it is a 5-year rebuild, so we'll have many, many trades. Ready to go for our first season here in San Antonio. It is obviously a little bit of a different looking Spurs team from where they were at just a season ago. Again, I'm not saying this is going to be a championship contender or anything like that, especially in a very, very talented Western Conference, but I think this team could be fun. I think they can make maybe a little bit of noise, maybe give somebody a little bit of a challenge in the first round of the playoffs. So we'll find out. It is Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama. I don't know if there's any surprises in that 1 through 5. I don't really see any there. I think this is the starting 5 that probably makes the most sense for the way this team is at right now. Trey Jones will be my 6th man off the bench. You got Stephon Castle behind him. I mean, again, he was the 4th overall pick. It's kind of similar to the Reed Shepherd Houston Rockets rebuild I did the other day. Just because you're taking super high doesn't necessarily mean you're starting, even though maybe you are talented enough to start. So you got him, Zach Collins behind him, Malachi Branham, who I actually moved to the 3, and then Harrison Barnes, who I moved to the 4. So a couple overalls down for Barnes, a couple overalls up for Branham. Again, doesn't really change anything about their stats and their attributes as a whole. It just made sense instead of going ahead and making, like, I don't want to say a blockbuster, but any sort of like significant move, because all of these guys have multiple years left on their contracts. So that's where we're at. I'm excited to see how CP3 can do with this group. I think he's going to be a very, very nice piece next to Wemby in real life. And I am excited here for 2K as well. I will see you guys at the end of year one. Unfortunately, I think we may have slightly missed out on our potential playoff, if not play-in hopes here at the end of year one. We go 37-45, which again, all things considered, is not terrible. It is certainly a step in the right direction, and we're hoping this is by far our worst season throughout the entirety of this video. Luka Doncic, your MVP, Alex Sarr, Rookie of the Year in DC, Josh Hart, 6th man. Wemby does win DPOY, so we're leaving here with something, as they say. Pretty impressive stats all around from our young superstar. Men Thompson, most improved. Trey Young, Clutch Player of the Year, and J Kidd, 59 and 23 there in Dallas. So let's dive into these standings a little bit. As I mentioned, okay, wow, this is interesting. All right, my mistake. I guess we are in the bottom of the plan. I mean, we lose one, we're done, but you understand my point. So here goes nothing. It is Wemby, Vassell, Johnson, Sohan, Castle. Not a terrible rookie season. About 9 points a game, 3.5, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, about 1 steal, half a block. He was 44% from the field, and then he was about, well, I mean, that's better than he shot it in college. It's about 31% from beyond the arc. So on how many attempts a game? About 2 attempts a game, so similar to college. So he's shooting better in the pros than he is in UConn. I'll take it. After him was Jones, Collins, CP3 certainly taking a little bit of a step back in the scoring department, Branham, and then Harrison Barnes. Rebounds per game led by Wemby, and assist was CP3. So I guess technically we are fighting for a playoff spot. It is us and the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, Brandon Pajemski, Wiggins, Kuminga, TJD. You got Draymond, Buddy Hield off the bench. Let's just see what happens. We win. Wow, okay, now we are actually fighting for a playoff spot. We win this, we are the 8th seed. Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Jabari Walker, DeAndre Ayton, the 1 through 5 there. For Portland, you got Shaedon Sharp, Rob Will, Denny Avdia. We go in the playoffs? We are not. We're not making the playoffs in year one, but again, I would 1,000% take that for a first season. These 5-year rebuilds, we can be a little bit more patient. We can kind of let things develop. Beautiful. All right, it is a Pacers and a Mavericks finals. The Mavericks end up getting it done. Luka Doncic is your finals MVP as they defeat the Indiana Pacers in 7 games. All right, CP3 officially calls it a career. If I'm being honest with you guys, I was probably not bringing him back. It didn't feel really smart to invest any sort of serious kind of capital into a 40-year-old player. So let him right off into the sunset as he does hit age 40. See Al Horford, Mike Conley, Lowry, Gordon. Wow, man, this is sad, man. It's my childhood. I'm going to... Oh, shit. I cannot override Popovich's retirement. I did not realize it had already been done. All right, so Popovich is officially gone. So now we are also looking for a new head coach. So point guard, head coach, now officially both on the map in terms of our biggest needs this offseason. It is the draft lottery. I know it's going to say we have 1 million draft picks. I already know the protections on all of them. Ours is at number 10. That Hornets pick is projected 14. Wow, I'm actually surprised because we have the Chicago Bulls pick as well. And then I think the Atlanta Hawks as well. So interesting. We end up with the 11th overall pick. We also have 14 from Charlotte, and then we have 21 and 22 from Chicago and Atlanta, respectively. So, staff signing, it is time to replace one of... Oh, my God. Why is Eric Spoelstra sitting here? I'll certainly take him. You never really see him sitting there. Okay, I'm also going to make an offer for Joe Mazzulla. I'd love to get Joe. And then my final backup plan will be Stauffer. I'm not going to get Stauffer if, multiple guys accept our offer just because I get him a decent amount. So I'd love Spo. Spo would be sick. Fuck. Well, we're not getting out of them. All right, it's a Stauffer video. I know he technically has the best ratings out of everybody because they're perfect, but it would have been cool to get one of, Spo or Mazzulla. I don't know. All right, we hit the NBA draft. Let me double check the protections on all these. As you can see, we have 4 first-round picks and 4 second-round picks. I've gone ahead and moved away the Charlotte Hornets pick. It was protected for 1 through 14. Of course, it landed at number 14, just in the final spot in the lottery, meaning we do not get to keep it. It's just a 2026 and 2027 second-round pick we are getting instead, and that was the final protection, so there's nothing from there. And then the Chicago pick we have was only protected 1 through 10. It was 1 through 8 the year after, but obviously, it's at 21, 22, whatever it is, so we do not have to worry about that. So we have 3 first-round picks, still 4 second-round picks. I'm certainly not going to use all of these. What I'm going to do is maybe consider a trade for some sort of point guard. I do not want to certainly overplay my hand because we do have a little bit more time. So yeah, well, you know what I'll do? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draft somebody at number 11 and 21, and then every other pick on this list we have here, because we have a lot of draft picks, is getting moved. So we'll do this trade there with the Milwaukee Bucks, and then we'll move these final 2, this final second-round pick we have here. Because I don't really need it, right? What am I going to do with this? So we have 2 firsts, number 11, number 21. Certainly can get some nice rotation pieces here. I see Hugo Gonzalez listed 6'6" as our small forward. I think power forward may be a little bit of a bigger need. Noah Enchike and Echenike, probably butchering the pronunciation on that. Michael Ruzic, Jaren Stevenson, Damian Sarr. I think I'm going to take Noah. I think I am. Says he's listed as a 76 overall. That's cool with me at number 11 overall. And then who else is here? Got another power forward here listed with Carter Bryant. Rocky Zakarski is actually somebody I've drafted in the past. Bam Bagioka as well. Donovan Freeman, Caleb Foster. Caleb Foster, low-key, might not be a bad pick. Everybody's listed as a C. You can see he's pretty highly ranked according to SN and 2K. Why not? I'm not saying Caleb Foster is going to be our future point guard, that leads us to the promised land, but it's certainly not a bad, overall. So 75 and 71, respectively. I'll take it. Wemby, Sohan, Branham, and Wesley all going to be brought back. City Sissoko, probably not. I just don't really think there's a spot for him here. It doesn't really make much sense. All right, so Trey Jones is our one and only free agent. As you can see, we have about $26 million in cap space. I'd certainly be interested in bringing in a point guard, but just looking at the list right now, like Jalen Suggs would be an awesome player to bring in. Maybe the Orlando Magic don't actually have much interest in bringing him back. Well, it says I only have $14 million. Hang with me. I feel like a lot of people have been asking for this to happen now for a couple of months. It is Trey Young and Victor Wembanyama teaming up on the San Antonio Spurs. Ultimately, I don't think the Atlanta Hawks are going to move Trey Young. I think that if they were going to do that, they probably already would have. I am going to attempt to land Trey Young, though. This is 2K. It's not a realistic rebuild. How about we make some sort of deal and maybe land Trey Young? In terms of what else I can offer, I'll throw Charles Bassey in this deal, and then I do have some draft picks. I don't have a ton of draft picks, but I would be willing to give up, at least one to acquire a player of Trey Young's caliber. So they still won't do that. Oh boy, I think we are maybe going to have to make a tough decision here. I'd give up Branham. Yeah, I didn't want to do that, but it's also going to allow Stephon Castle to get some more minutes, maybe even Keldon Johnson as well, and to land me a player who's already an all-star caliber player, who's been to the conference finals at age 26. It feels like a really good deal for me. And we keep Blake Wesley as well, so he'll be my backup point guard. It's still going to be Vassell. Part of me really wants to find a way to start Stephon Castle. I also certainly could have just played him at the point guard spot, but do I start him over Keldon Johnson at the 3? I might do that. Because that also could, well, then I don't, because I'm trying to think away, because I forgot Trey Jones is here, who I'm certainly not just going to let walk out the door. I do not want to match that. Oh, man. Because Trey Jones is going to be my backup. I completely forgot about Trey Jones. I know I just said I was going to go ahead and try to get Wesley some minutes, but that maybe now allows me to trade Wesley. I think that makes more sense. I'm starting Stephon Castle. Some of you might not like it, but I think at this point in time, and it's, again, not a shot at him, but, age 25, 26, you probably know what a realistic ceiling for Keldon Johnson looks like, right? And how much better is he really going to get? So, I'm still going to keep him. He'll be a six-man, something off like that off the bench, but maybe we now move on and just find somebody who can be maybe a little bit of a better long-term solution here with Keldon Johnson, instead of Keldon Johnson in Stephon Castle. So that's what I'm going to do there. And then Blake Wesley, honestly, if it's not a draft pick, if it's not a shooting guard, I'll take a draft pick and then I'll just sign somebody. Looks like we're getting off for just quite a bit of draft picks, actually, but not really any short of shooting guards here. So, all right, we're just going to go ahead and take, that's Cavs. Clippers could be valuable, low-key. And then I'll see who the shooting guard options here for me. Guy like Isaiah Joe feels like a really, really good pickup. All right, that is cool with me. I really like the way we've gone about this offseason. Obviously, adding another floor general to play next to Victor Wembanyama and a floor general that's in his prime here. And Trey Young is very exciting. I will see you guys at the start of year number 2. Last season was pretty fun. We won 37 games, somehow snuck into the play-in as a 10 seed, ultimately won a play-in game, did not end up making the playoffs. This offseason, we had a very exciting couple of months. I am pumped to see how this team fits together. I think Trey Young is a fantastic partner here with Victor Wembanyama, who, of course, continues to only go up in overall, up to a 94 right now. So it is Young, Vassell, Castle, Sohan, and Wemby. Again, very excited to have Stephon Castle in the starting lineup. Again, it's a little interesting to see him at the 3, maybe more of a 2 or a 1, but it's fine. Keldon Johnson here will now be my 6th man off the bench. We retained Trey Jones. You got Isaiah Joe, who we brought in, Zach Collins, and then Noah, and I'm going to butcher this, Noah Echenike. Well, again, my apologies, not good with names, but he'll be our 10th and final guy. So that is the team. Very excited. I think this is no doubt a playoff team now. I will see you guys at the end of year number 2. Steady improvement for us here in year 2. 48-34 is the final record, and ultimately it is certainly another big step in the right direction, with our end goal being a championship. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is your MVP. Cooper Flag is an Atlanta Hawk. Not sure how he fell to number 2, but he did. He's your Rookie of the Year. Also wins 6th Man of the Year. Another D point for Mr. Wembanyama, our superstar. Isaiah Jackson, now a Golden State Warrior, wins Most Improved. Ants, your Clutch Player of the Year. Mark Daigneault, 66 and 16 there in Oklahoma City. God damn, I forget how big of a pain in the ass they are throughout all of these. We are the 4 seed. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves here in the first round. And again, beautiful season for us. Look at the East. This is tragic. All right, let's dive into the numbers a little bit. See how everybody kind of played for us. Wemby led us in scoring. Trey Young really emerging as a nice second option for us. About 20 points a game, about 8 assists. I'll take it. Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle. Again, slowly but surely getting better. This is his rebuild. That's all we were really hoping for. Kind of similar numbers in terms of the three-point shooting percentage. We're hoping those will maybe go up a little throughout the rest of this video. And there, look at the rest of our players there. Rebounds, Wemby, 14.5 boards a game, and assists was Trey Young. So San Antonio Spurs versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. DeLon Wright. Okay. Is Rob Dillingham just no longer here? No, he is. You're just not starting. Okay. That is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They do have Anthony Edwards, who is obviously a young star, one of the faces of basketball, if you will. But we got Victor Wembanyama. So we're up 3-2 right now here in the first round, and we are now going to a Game 7. And we win that Game 7. All right, it is us, the 66-win Thunder, who add Austin Reeves. It feels like it's something they now always do, right? Old videos, they used to always add OG Anunoby. New one seems like always Austin Reeves now joining this team here in Oklahoma City. But they are obviously young. They have a lot of really solid depth. I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie to you good people. Quick 2-1 lead. Okay. Don't do this. Don't do it. You can tell, you can literally tell when it's coming. In the fucking Kings? The Kings, really? They beat the Thunder, but we can't? Okay. Pacers go on to win it all. Tyrese Halliburton, holy hell. What a series. He is your finals MVP. Okay, entering year 3, obviously, it would have been nice to get a championship that year. We, had the Thunder basically on the ropes, up 3-1, and then we choked it away, which is never fun. But you know what? It is a learning experience, and it is an experience that will hopefully make us better in the long run. Here's a look at the lottery. You can see we have that Atlanta pick is projected to be number 12 right now. I don't know exactly. Oh, no, they have it still. Okay. I'm not really sure. That's fine. Staff signing, we're good with Mike Stauffer. Let's head up to the draft. In terms of what major improvements we can make with this team, I'm not exactly sure. I know we have 1 million second-round picks. I'm actually just going to trade out of pretty much all of them again. I will keep the first and draft somebody. I don't know if they'll actually crack this rotation, but a lot of people ask me sometimes, say, hey, use all the second-round picks for what? Right? Does it really matter? I don't know. I feel bad because, like, I want to, obviously let you. Ooh, what the fuck? This is awesome. Okay. I'm taking Bryce James. It's really insane. He's 2026. All right, that's cool with me. Team player options, Wemby, Young, and Castle all coming back. Again, I don't know why Trey Young has that team option. I don't know if he actually has it or if that's just 2K back on their BS. Sohan and Collins are certainly both players we'd like to retain. We really don't have any money anyways, so we're not going to get too fancy. We're going to pay Jeremy Sohan. We're going to pay Zach Collins and get both of our guys back there. So other than that, I think there are some moves we could make to maybe improve this team just kind of one step further. But again, we have 5 years, right? If this was the third and final season, certainly I'd be maybe hitting the panic button a little bit harder. But, there's no reason to, at least not yet. So, we're all set. We are going to add Bryce James to this team. He'll probably just be a backup and maybe even spend some time in the G League right now. But what other moves am I really making right now, right? So I will just see you guys at the start of, year number 3. As we enter year number 3, there aren't certainly a lot of major changes to this 10-man rotation. Actually, there's no major changes to this 10-man rotation. Everything remains the same. I think the minutes are actually even the same as well. This team just really needs another year of development. I am banking on the possibility of Victor Wembanyama maybe winning an MVP award this season. I think Trey Young continues to do things well. I do think this team could be a top 3 seed. It is Young, Vassell, Castle, Sohan, and Wemby. Bench unit, Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, Isaiah Joe, Zach Collins, and Noah Echenike here, who, again, probably not pronouncing his name right. My apologies. I did send Bryce James down to the G League. Maybe he'll spend a year there. Eventually could be a rotation piece. We will see. I will see you guys at the end of year number 3. The defending Finals MVP is this season's regular MVP as Tyrese Haliburton takes home yet another award. We go 53-29, which is by far our best regular season record yet, and we are hoping year 3 is now the championship season. AJ DeBance is your Rookie of the Year in DC. Josh Giddey is now in New York. He's your 6th man. Wemby, another deep boy. Nolan Traore, most improved. Ant, Clutch Player of the Year once again. Mark Daignault, head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, still leading the charge here in the Western Conference. All right, we are the 2 seed, which is certainly nice. We'll be facing a play-in team. That playing team is TBD. Let's dive into the numbers a little bit, see how everybody played all around. Wemby, Young, Vassell, Castle, again, continuing to do things well. Getting those numbers up. That 3-point percentage is certainly taking a nice jump, about 34.5% a game. I like it. I do. Sohan, Johnson, Isaiah Joe, Jones, and then Collins. Rebounds per game led by Wemby, and assists was Trey Young. So facing a play-in team, that play-in team will be the New Orleans Pelicans. Dennis Schroeder now here. You got Trey Johnson, Ingram, Zion, Walker Kessler. All right, I'm not sure where DeJounte Murray went. They got Herb Jones and Rob Will. Oh, my fucking God. That is an insane amount of depth there in New Orleans. So quick 2-0 lead for us. They do win game 3. They also win game 4 and game 5. Oh my God. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Nope. I can't have something like that, right? There's just no way. That can't happen. Wemby was good. Young. I don't really think anybody necessarily played awful in that series for what everybody's roles are, but I do think if we want to compete, we know with these fucking demons here in Oklahoma City and now MVP winner and finals MVP winner Tyrese Haliburton, we just got to make an upgrade, right? I mean, we've obviously been relatively patient so far, but as we enter year 4, the time is now, right? Oh my God. Look at these names. That's insane. That is insane. It's going to hit me, oh my God. That's so fucking wild. Okay, draft lottery time. Okay, I see a Clippers pick. Oh, we traded for that Clippers pick. I remember that. Okay, at least I don't have to go look it up. Oh my God. End up with the number 1 overall selection. That's huge. Mike Stauffer, obviously very happy to have him as our head coach, but jumping all the way up to number 1 is ginormous. Take a look at this draft class. I don't know who Elijah Arenas is, and I would be bullshitting you if I said that I did. But I might just take him because I do think there's a possibility that he may actually even have more. My fucking... What am I supposed to do with all this, right? Okay, give me a minute. I'll be back. It took about 85 years, but I was finally able to clear out all of the draft picks that were not in the number 1 overall pick. I'm going to take somebody there, and then we're going to just see if I can trade that player, whoever it is going to be. If not, I'll just keep him, hang on to him. It appears like Elijah Arenas, who I'm not sure if there's a relation to Gilbert, but I hope this young man plays like Gilbert. Number 1 overall, projection in SN and 2K. He's clearly listed as one of the highest overalls. He's going to be my guy. I have no idea who he is. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and pretend that I do, but he's a 78 overall. Cool with me. All right, team player options. Castle and Noah and Echenike are both going to be brought back here. Qualifying Wemby is certainly a priority for us in free agency. You also got Giannis here in free agency, but no. Trey Young, free agent as well. He has 9 offers right now. None of them are obviously real. which is big, and then Keldon Johnson as well. So I'm just going to pay my guys. I'm not going to risk letting anybody walk out the door. Clearly, we can match whatever Wemby gets, but we should be able to retain everybody, which we do. All right, I think that's everybody, right? Yep, just those three. Wemby, I'm not even kidding. Like, when you think about the possibilities of, like, we're 2 to 3 years away from, like, $400 million contracts, right? Like, what is Wemby going to get on, like, his second or third contract? It's insane. It's legitimately insane just to think about that. Like, put it into perspective. NBA money is so fucking outrageous. It really is. Now we just signed, like, basically 5 years, $300 million, but very much deserved for our 97 overall 23-year-old superstar. I stand by what I said. I think we need to make an upgrade either at the shooting guard or the power forward spot. We'll go from there. Evan Mobley is currently with the Atlanta Hawks. We've obviously made one blockbuster trade already with Atlanta, that would be acquiring Trey Young, and I'd like to make a second and see if we can maybe get Evan Mobley and pair him up with Victor Wembanyama, which would undoubtedly be the best backcourt in basketball. This is what I'm currently offering. Keldon Johnson, Isaiah Joe, Noah Echinike, and Bryce James, who was just at an overall where he was never going to crack the rotation. This team is just literally too good. So how about we move on from all of these players who really I'm fine with, right? We have to get stars. We have to get better at some point. That's actually insane. All right, well, welcome to the team, Evan Mobley. It's now just going to move Jeremy Sammelhan, who we did just give a big fat contract to the bench unit. We're going to figure out some sort of new backup shooting guard. Elijah Arenas can either play the backup 2 or the backup 3. The man is 6'7". He has an A 3-point shot. That's fine by me. So let's just look at our options. I see Ben Shepherd here in terms of the small forwards. I'm actually pretty interested in Cam Johnson. I see Max Strus as well. I'm trying to stay relatively young. So you know what? I'll actually throw an offer out here for Ben Shepherd. Let's just see, is it possible to land him? It is. We'll bring him in on a 3-year deal. I'm just going to go ahead and move Arenas to the backup small forward spot, and I will see all you fine people at the start of year number 4. Last season, we were up 3-1, and then we lost in 7. That was in the first round of the playoffs, and we were a 2 seed. We determined that was unacceptable. We ultimately decided to make some major changes. I think they are changes that are certainly going to be for the better. It is Trey Young, Devin Vassell. Stephon Castle is up to an 86 overall. It's a chef's kiss, thing of beauty. Obviously brought in Evan Mobley to pair up with Victor Wembanyama. Just going to be an absolutely insane defensive front court. Bench unit. I'm going to let Elijah Arenas here as my 6th man. We just took the young man, number 1 overall. Certainly want to see him develop as much as possible. Jeremy Sohan behind him. We still got Trey Jones. Still got Zach Collins. Then we brought in Ben Shepherd on a 3-year deal to play 10 minutes a night. I feel bad, but it's just the depth that this team currently has. So insane. It's clearly talented enough to win. We just got to go out and do the damn thing. See you guys at the end of year number 4. It took until year 4, but Victor Wembanyama finally wins an MVP award. Not only did he lead us to 66 wins, but he averaged a 21-point double-double with insane splits for a guy who is 7'4". Tawan Petaway is your Rookie of the Year. Cameron Boozer is in Orlando with probably backing up Paolo Banchero, your 6th man. Wemby also wins, what is that, his 4th straight DPOY. Drake Powell, Most Improved. De'Aaron Fox, Clutch Player of the Year. Mike Stauffer. Cool to see somebody, not named Mark Daignault win it. All right, it is time. Last year, the first round did obviously not... Oh, wow, we were 1 game better. It obviously did not go very well. I am hopeful that this year will be much better. We have certainly added some more talent. Stephon Castle continues to develop quite nicely. I'm very excited about the possibilities with this team. I think the sky is the absolute limit. I think clearly we have enough enough talent to win a championship. We just got to go do it. Steph Curry no longer here, but Giannis is... Okay. That's going to be fun. Giannis versus Wemby is... I remember that Spurs versus Bucks game. It was so fucking fun. Why are we 2-2 with them? Okay. Up 3-2. Close them out. Thank you. We are now moving on to the Houston Rockets. Reed Shepard, Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Kuminga, Şengün. You got Randall, Jalil Bethea, Tari Eason, VJ Edwards. Oh, my God. A lot of depth there in Houston. Good start. Up 2-1. We go up 3-1. They do win Game 5. We win in 6. Okay. We knew it was coming. You can't really do much to avoid it at this point. Oklahoma City Thunder are just a goddamn powerhouse. They won 65 games. We won 66. That's a big start for us. They do win Game 3 at home and Game 4. Fuck. We win 5. We close them out, and we win in 6. All right, it is us. Was Cameron Boozer just win... Oh, my God. He just won Conference Finals MVP coming off the bench. Interesting. Well, you saw the Orlando Magic, who are certainly, now here. They are ready to compete with us in the NBA Finals. We quickly split the first 2, go up 2-1, up 3-1. As we head back to San Antonio, we've won 3 straight games. We are looking to close out the Magic, get a little bit of gameplay here with the unicorn himself, Mr. Victor Wembanyama. So, looks like we're going to be doing it here. I will see you guys in there. Really good start for us here. I am very excited that we're going to be winning a championship. I mean, of course, we could have won one next year, and we still may win one next year, but at least some of the pressure is off of just winning one in the video in its entirety. So I'm pumped. You know, this San Antonio Spurs team, I really do like their offseason. I'm talking about, you know, their actual offseason right now. I don't think they're going to be any sort of serious contender next year because it's hard to go from, you know, number 4 overall pick, not making the playoffs, to like serious contender, you know, when you don't add some sort of superstar. I'm fully aware that Victor Wembanyama is a superstar and he is going to be for a very long time. But I really do think they're kind of smaller terms additions. I think Chris Paul is going to be a very nice veteran addition. Obviously a guy who can space the shit. Obviously a guy who can help space the floor a little bit. Not talking about him specifically. I'm talking about his playmaking and his facilitating abilities. And then you add a guy like Harrison Barnes, who I don't think is like a key guy in a starting 5 on like a championship competitive type team, but I do think can be a nice piece, a nice veteran addition to a young team like the Spurs. So I like their offseason. You know, they didn't go for Trey Young when many people thought there was a possibility that they did, but I think all of their moves are going to shape them up for some very, very key and future success. So I'm pumped. I'm happy for you Spurs fans. I know it's been a very long time since you had a franchise superstar. You had Tim Duncan, you had Kawhi. Your years of pain are not very long. And I guess I am happy that you're back. So pumped to watch next season, man. I already miss basketball. I've been watching Team USA. They just beat Australia today when I'm recording this. And I miss hoops, man. I really do. All right, we're going to do one more possession. I know these videos are already long as hell. I want Wemby to give me the pick. I'll just do it to Mobley. Okay, foul. Oh, that and one would have been sweet. Good night. Let me guess. Finals MVP, Victor Wembanyama? That would be correct. Insane numbers from our young superstar, what, age 24, whatever, winning a Finals MVP. Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Vucevic. All right, we got one more year to go. Spoelstra calls it a career. How old is Spoelstra? I can't see his age. I mean, he's been coaching for forever, but he's not that old. Jersey retirements, Clay and Draymond. Draft lottery time. I don't think we've traded for any picks that could possibly be in here. Oh, my God, we have a Portland pick. Holy shit. All right. Well, I was not necessarily expecting that. Obviously good with Mike Stauffer. Let's head up to the draft. Just see what we got here. We also... Oh, my fucking God. Give me 2 to 3 business days. Let me clear all this out. I've now moved on from all the second-round picks. It's funny. I just keep kind of kicking the can down the road. I trade away second-round picks. I get them all the next year. You understand. We have the 6th and 14th overall pick from the Trailblazers and Celtics, respectively. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with these. There's certainly an argument to say, hey, maybe make one more big blockbuster trade, but I also don't really feel like I need to do that, right? Like, I'll certainly glance if I move Shepard 6 and 14, and I have no offers. If I move Shepard in 6, I get offered Kelly Oubre, which certainly is an interesting idea. Jared Vanderbilt. I don't really need to do anything. That's like, why? I'll just draft somebody. I'll draft somebody at both spots. Again, this is the 2028 draft. These kids are probably, you know, 14, 15 years old right now. I don't know who Jalen Mitchell is, but I'll go ahead and select him. 7-footer out of UC San Diego. And then Ryan Hampton, he's a C+. Nobody else is a C+. Cool with me. I don't really know. Who really cares? All right, 75 and 75 overall, respectively. We have no team player options. Qualifying, we have none. We take a look at free agency here. It's a fun free agency class. Stephon Castle, who for some reason is unrestricted. Certainly want to make sure I'm able to retain him. I'm actually going to wait on Jones. I don't know if we're over the cap. And sometimes the game will just select one of these guys randomly to sign back. And I want to make sure I get... Yeah, see, this is what I was worried about. If I had gone ahead and like signed them both back, the game might have picked Jones over Castle, which obviously would have screwed me. So happy I went ahead and did that the way I wanted to. Now it just means we have to trade for a new backup point guard. It is certainly not the end of the world, and I can definitely consider my options. Like, do I have any money at all? Like, can I sign... Okay, I can sign Bruce Brown if I wanted to. Okay. There are some names there, but I think I'd rather just wait. Like, right? Like, if I... You know what I could do? I could low-key let, like, Ryan Hampton play. I can move Elijah Arenas back to the 2, and then I'd maybe trade Ben Shepherd for a new backup 1. So I'll move Shepherd. I'll move Mitchell, who was just probably never going to play. And then give me some sort of point guard, please. Oh, good God. Jordan Poole is not... No fucking shot. No. Kobe Buffkin, he's an... What is this beard? That is tragic. Oh, man. All right. They're making like $21 million combined. I feel like there has to be a better option. And again, I know I'm probably taking years off of everybody's life for how long you're waiting for this, but I'm just curious. 21 and a half. Let's do 22 and a half. Okay. So Dylan Harper's not going to happen. Let's just accept that. Nolan Traore, probably not going to happen. Oh my God, Bronny James. All right. Fuck it. Why not? Let's see. We'll offer up Ben Shepherd, not Wemby. Okay. And I keep fucking clicking the wrong button. And Mitchell. Okay, probably a pretty vast overpay, but ultimately, who really cares? I'll move Arenas back to the 2, and I'll see you guys at the start of year 5. Coming off a championship, we are feeling great. We are looking to repeat. We want to go back-to-back, and I think it's very, very clear we have the talent to do so. There's really no major changes. Trey Young, Devin Vassell, who just really hasn't moved. I feel like he's just kind of been an afterthought throughout the entirety of this video, and his overall just really hasn't changed. He's been consistent, but just weird. Stephon Castle, who's now up to a 90 overall. It's a beautiful sight to see, fresh off a $47 million annual contract extension. Evan Mobley and Wembanyama. I'm rocking with Elijah Arenas here as my 6th man. You know, we took him number 1 overall a few years back. I know we have some higher overalls coming off the bench, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got Sohan behind him. We brought in Bronny James. You got Zach Collins still here, and then Ryan Hampton, who we drafted number 14 overall. Who really cares? I'll see you guys at the end of the 5th and final regular season. We're not going to end up breaking the best record of 73-9 in NBA history, but we ultimately finish up year 5 with a 71-11 record, and Victor Wembanyama wins another MVP award. So who am I to complain? Isaac Hayes, your Rookie of the Year in Minnesota. I cannot say this young man's name. Tawan Petaway is your 6th man of the year. Wemby, another DPOY. I think that's 5 out of 5 for him, I believe. Canyon Catching's awesome fucking name. Most improved player. Luka Doncic, clutch player of the year. Mike Stauffer, as we do go 71-11, he's your coach of the year. All right, it is standing time. We were 12 games up on the Oklahoma City Thunder. We did have the best record in basketball, and it is time to wrap this thing up on a high note. Feel free to pause at this point. It doesn't really matter to me, so let's just do the damn thing. It is us and the New Orleans Pelicans. They actually beat us in round 1 a few years back. They're good. They don't really move me enough. Okay. Moving on to the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant, Igor Demir, Jacob Wilkins, Triple J. You got Zach Edey up to an 88 overall. Wow. All right, here goes nothing in the West semis. Quick 2-0 lead for us. Quick 3-0 lead for us. They do win game 4, and we close them out in 5. It is us and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Surprise, surprise, we have this gauntlet of a team here in the Western Conference Finals once again. We split the first 2 at home with them, win 3 on the road, win 4 on the road, head back to San Antonio, close out a quick gentleman's sweep. All right, it is us and the Chicago Bulls. Kobe White just won an Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Respectfully, this team's not going to win a game. All right, Victor Wembanyama, another Finals MVP. And we cap it off. Very, very fun video. Stephon Castle rebuild, 5 years. I think we played to his strengths very, very well. I think this was a very fun rebuild. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this video has been long as hell, so I'll keep the outro short. Of course, we have many prospect rebuilds to go. I'll do as many as you guys want. And yeah, any other video ideas, let me know down below in the comment section. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.